to come in and announce that. Yeah, because I don't know much about the donor. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Thank you for inviting me here. I was here 2 years ago on 26th of July, so now it's 10th of July, exactly 2 years. And the only thing about this age, and I suppose if you are busy, is that time just flies, you know, that's the only thing I can't stop. Some people have got time going very slowly. I guess that's because they have very little to do. But if you keep yourself busy, and especially with technology, you can always keep yourself busy all the time. So before we start, there is one marhum that we sold this particular machine to, who I would like, Mohammed Baikanji. He died, he left this thing and he said he would like to donate it to us to sell, and the money will go into charity, yeah? So during today, if you can make a bid for it somewhere at the end, at the question time or just about that time, money is going into charity. It cost 45, 55 pounds then. It's still worth it, you know, 40, 50 pounds, whatever. But I'll give it to the highest bidder at that time, yeah?
Can I say that I've seen him use it?
Yeah.
To call his brother in Africa.
Yeah, yeah. And it will still work to call and do some of the things that I'm going to show you also today. So last time I started with a particular story about people being very conservative, and they don't like change, especially older people. They don't like change at all. And I gave the example of a one-eyed society where people had only one eye, and then a two-eyed person was born there. So if you think about it carefully, you should be happy that there's a two-eyed person. He can see more, he can see better, and he will guide us and help us. Just like Imam Ali coming into the society of the Arabs at that time. But what happens is the one-eyed people killed that two-eyed person. So that is the normal way in which uneducated or untrained or morally bankrupt people do. They kill the threat. But the intelligent people, the ones who are trained, will always try and use the two-eyed person or that new thing coming for their own advantage. And we've seen that. I've given you quite a lot last time, but I impressed last time that we should embrace technology. It's just like a two-eyed person coming into a one-eyed society. And especially for Shia Muslims, it is really a part of our faith to do that. So we also did a survey on the 13th of March this year. I came in for 10 minutes and we did a survey here of the use of technology in our center here. And they also did one in Hydri. And a recent study in USA among the seniors over 65 said that 85% owned a mobile, only 85%. And of that, 46% used a smartphone, which is a thinking phone with a big screen and whatever. That's a smartphone. And these statistics show that seniors are, according to the survey people in America, they're embracing the change quickly enough. So, although not everybody filled in the forms here, I can report that for the Khojas, the figure where Americans were 85, we are 95% own a phone. So that's very good. And 77% own a smartphone. So it is much, much better than I ever thought. In fact, I didn't teach more than 7 or 8 people. Most of them are self-taught, and this technology is teaching you itself. So I'm very pleased to say that we are at least the one-eyed society welcoming the two-eyed people among us. But I've got all the results here, and I can send it to anybody. But there are some things I would like to note. I've combined the figures both for Stanmore and Hyderi, and most of them are similar results, both sides. Yeah, for example, the smartphones owned in Stanmore was 79% and in Hyderi was 77%. So independently, we are in that bracket. Also, around 70% of the seniors said that they are either fairly confident or very confident in the use of smartphones. So that was also a surprise, because I was trying to get hold of Akbar Ghulam to tell him that we probably don't need that much IT effort among the seniors. We are already there, almost, yeah. Only between 25 to 35% of seniors say they would benefit from more training. And that means most of you are educated in this field and can teach me. In fact, 4 seniors who were prepared to teach others. So that's also a very good sign. More than half of you had a phone and a tablet at home. So that's also a very good statistic. Only 3% were not using a mobile or smartphone to call family and friends. 48% of the Stanmore crowd were not using WhatsApp. Now that's something that I want to talk about later. While only 14% did not use WhatsApp in Hyderi. So Stanmore is quite behind. 48% were not using it. We need to look at this a little bit. WhatsApp, since I talked last time, has gone forward, and there are better calling procedures, video calls, in fact group calls as well, so you can have 3-4 people talking at the same time, and it's so simple, unbelievably simple. And if you remember that when I sold these things, I also put in there a 10-minute video about a Harvard study, which was a 75-year-old study, which said really that the thing that gives you a long life is relationship with your family and friends. The more you have, the better it is for your own life. And even Dr. Akbar Mamdali, when he spoke last time about co-age, he pointed out that particular thing. It also makes you happy during your life. So, and it's free to call these things, you know. Just think that in 1990, when I was using these things, I used to pay £70 a minute. Just think how rich you are. Also, about 30 to 40% do not use the phone to hear majlises. Now, I think it's probably true that there are circumstances where our people come to the mosque regularly, so they don't need to hear majlises online. But I was very happy that the other day, last week, there was a wafat, and I could not make it to the wafat, and I was in Birmingham for a function, and I was with a guy from Dubai. So we put it on. We started off in Birmingham at 7:45. We put it on. We heard the whole majlis, came here just before namaz time, finished namaz, but we participated from all intensive purposes in the majlis. And so beautiful. In the car, there was not one interruption. Yeah, everything came as beautiful as it was on this video. So I would say that, you know, if you don't know how to do it, especially for Hujjat people, there is a Hujjat app that's on this machine, and you can put it on your own phone, Android or iPhone, and all you do is just go in Hujjat. Once you are there, just the 4th icon at the bottom, and then just live transmission, and there you are. You've got all your majlis coming through from there. And if you don't know, come back and I'll teach you. Now, Other things from Hydri survey, we did not ask these questions in Stanmore, so I only got the results from Hydri. But what I would like to do is from Stanmore, each question as I come, if you can tell me those who don't do what is in this question, then I'll just count all the negatives. I've counted the number of people, were about 42, and then a couple of more have come, so I will deduct from 42 and then see how many are using it. So 50% use the phone to ask Google. So how many, for example, here don't use Google? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's very good. 4 out of, where's my pen? Thanks. So 4 people. 70% used it to take photos. So how many people don't use phones or whatever and don't take photos? You don't know how to do it. Okay, 2. Any more? Just 2. So ours is almost 90%. Take photos. 40% use it for online banking. Now that's a very important question. I think Kaku spoke about that. So how many people don't use online banking? Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a minute. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. Okay. I'll just reinforce that online banking is going to be very important, but I'll speak about it later. 55% used to get information on health. Now, how many of you haven't used it for getting information on health? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8. So we're around 75%. That's very good. 50% use it for Google Maps or Waze or something like that. Navigation. So how many don't use navigation? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. It's good. Quite a lot of people use. So Stanmore in every case is better than Hydri, as expected, you know. Now, we should have asked about YouTube as well. How many of you are not confident of using YouTube and searching YouTube for majlises, nawhas, or anything else? Huh? How many are not happy about, or all of you are using YouTube? Yeah? Okay, that's very good, because that is, I remember the first phone I bought, the first thing to test it, whether or not it was good for me, was to actually go to YouTube search and ask for majlises from Allama Turabi. And I found it, 50 years old, it was there. Yeah, and then I said, this is really the instrument for the future. So last time I've just finished what is the survey. I'm very happy about it, and I think the co-ed people are going to find it very difficult to take at least Stanmore people forward, because they're already far forward than other people. And more eh?
FaceTime.
FaceTime, yeah, FaceTime. I'll come to FaceTime and WhatsApp and whatever in due course. Last time, I will just summarize what I talked about for an hour. We talked about it. I first introduced 7 new technologies that were coming between 2022 to 2028. We're still not there up to 2022 yet. So I've checked up, and they're all on the way as predicted, or faster than predicted. And I can assure you that, you know, and if anyone of you want to to see the last lecture, I've got it on WhatsApp, and it's a 1-minute job for me to transmit it to you. You can listen to it in your own time. We also looked at India last time. That Jio was Ambani making some really good gestures to try and get all Indians to own a phone. Well, worldwide, including Africa, 40% own smartphones. It's slightly lower than the Americans, but that's including Africa. But in India, the figure is 27%, and in 2022, they expect to reach 60%. So our Khoja people are on already 78%. There's one thing I wanted to say about WhatsApp. There are changes that have happened. I already discussed some of it, which is that group calls are very easy to make. And probably at that time, 2 years ago, FaceTime was just going to introduce group calls, but it's more complicated. And FaceTime has a problem that only iPhones to iPhones, those phones can be made. WhatsApp can actually make the call to any other phone owned by any other company. Yeah, whether it's a Google phone, whether it's a Android phone, Samsung, or even iPhone. All of those phones can be connected without any effort. Yeah, and you can speak, and they can view you in different houses, and it is free.
Is it the same application that we use?
Yes, just the WhatsApp.
It's the same one.
Yes, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Yeah. Now, the other thing is that email has declined quite a lot. So people use email really for real notifications from the bank or something like that, and for whether or not you are the real owner of that thing, or when you change your password, you lose your password, they need the email. So you need to have 1 or 2 email accounts. Everybody needs to have that. But many of the things that you used to get in email, whatever, are much easier on WhatsApp. It takes half a second, it reaches the other side straight away, and it is much, much easier. You can send videos. In the email, you have to have attachments, and then go and open the attachments and do this or that or whatever. It's no longer really valid. But one other problem has occurred in WhatsApp. If you form a group, then so many people send you so many videos that you get tired of seeing it. It's a real nasty thing, you know. And some of it is fake news, and everybody keeps thinking, "Mamma mia, what has happened here?" In fact, it's all fake news. There are people who are manufacturing fake news all the time. So what I've used in my groups is that I make 2 groups. One for media. That means all the crap that people want to send it there. And then if you don't want to see that, you just see if you got 50 items, open that thing and close it again. So all those 50 will become red. Yeah. And then you have another thing with the same name, but notices only. So if we have, say, seniors, notices only. Seniors, media only. Media, everybody can send what they like. Notices only the things which are required. For example, the meeting is going to be next Sunday, this is the agenda, or I'm not going to be able to come, he replies, or something like that. So we have one for our Sunday lunch. So we have all the media, and some people don't like all these things, so they just then go and quit that particular group. But the notices one, they have to stay in so that they get all the notices and everybody knows what is going on in that group. So I suggest really that instead of having even well, we're having an email group, we should really start a WhatsApp group for seniors, and then have a seniors group again with notices only, and then have an place, like one in Milton Keynes, one in here, one in here. So all the heads of those are also connected. That way we will spread all the information very fast. All the good practices will go very fast, and then if people don't like all the media, they can get out of that one, yeah? And we don't have to suffer through all that, but at least we are, we've got the pulse on the real notices.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
If we want to make a group,
Yeah.
but only one person allowed to send, nobody else can put anything, any message on that group, can you make that?
Not on WhatsApp at the
You
moment.
can't do
Yeah,
that.
no.
You can?
It's only
The group administrator can put messages and nobody else.
not everybody.
Oh,
It's serious.
oh, well, maybe you should show me that thing.
Yeah, I'd like to know that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? Okay, all right. So you can use that technique in your own other groups as well. We also talked about Facebook. Now, Facebook has had problems in the last 2 years with privacy of data and all those things and whatever, but still the use of it is rising and is going to become even more prominent. I always say that I use Facebook not for every bit of news every day, but I use it intermittently. I sort of look at it every week or something like that. And they are coming with a very big idea. Apple is also coming with a very big idea, and so is Facebook, which is have money in that program, so that you can transfer to anybody, any money, anywhere in the world, without much transfer charges and without any exchange control. If Tanzania says we're not having any bureau, we can say that to it, and at the end of the day, you know, any government that tries to control our money beyond what we want it to control, we can say that to them all the time. Yeah, so it is good to use those facilities, be aware of the dangers like Mr. Kaku pointed out, but I can tell you that these things are simpler than they've ever been. As they get more and more customers, they have to make it even simpler, and they're going to make your life very, very easy. So, I also talked about other things, but I've got very little time, so I'll just quit them. But you may say to me that I've told you to look with more enthusiasm on technology, even though sometimes we think we are getting old with 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. We're on the dispatch boxes, people tell us. Well, I want to try and share with you some knowledge about technology in health sector that you're all going to be very surprised about. I've got a full paper on that for people to read. I can send it to you on WhatsApp, but I can tell you that within 2 years, this new medication will come through that is coming whether you like it or not. And in the same way as Viagra was pushed through Congress in a very record time of 2 years, this particular medicine is going to be pushed through all the Congresses, whether Soviet Union or China, very fast, and it's already been practiced on mice and one group of 14 people. And now it's entered a second phase of 11 groups of 15 to 20 people that they're testing. 6 months have already expired, another 1 year, 1.5 years, and the results will be out. And what is it? After having that drug, you will find you will get 30 years younger in life. All your cells which have been dead, all the diabetes that you've got, all the brain cells that have become dead will live. Yes, zombie cells, which are part of an aging process. Some cells die, and the next cell to that also feels that it ought to die, and the next cell to that feels it ought to die. It destroys the zombie cells, right? and then the living cells, because they are living cells, the neighbor will live and they will reproduce. They have tested it in mice. They gave it to lots of people, whatever it was, and then the one lot became younger than the other lot by 30 years equivalent. It will not add any more life to it, life to human beings, but I put this thing to Maulana Kalbi Abbas the other day. I was sitting here and he was here, and he says, but Zuleika was there. Zuleika was a living example that Allah gave her youth afterwards to go and marry Yusuf. But then she didn't marry Yusuf, or maybe I didn't know the story that well, but she went and prayed and prayed and prayed. She loved Allah more and more because she was very, very happy seeing. After the marriage. So that's why I wanted a mullah here to explain exactly what happened. So you can think that this is the akhirat time or whatever, but I did ask two mujtahids, what would be our view to having this? It says, if there is something like that available, it's really for all people, and we should make use of it, but not forget Allah and His blessing and His tests that He is going to do. So we pray that most of us have life more than 3 years from now, because there will be a queue of people trying to get this medicine. They may not be able to manufacture it. So you ask me, why should we embrace technology? Because it may well be that you've got a long life and you will need this technology. Yeah? So that's what I wanted to say. So anybody who says that, you know, we don't need it, I think we should really go for it with more enthusiasm. So let's have a salawat for that. And Allah salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
You take questions? You take questions?
I'll take questions at the end, but I'm really...
Because we got to finish by 5 to 1.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I had I had a look at all the seniors apps that were coming, or what was helping seniors in today's age. And I wanted to bring about some sort of thought process on that, but I guess it is really so much that I think I've got to quit that probably and show you just one item, and then probably yeah. So I mean, there are, for example, robots with hoovers for about $400 you can buy. It doesn't climb stairs, but if you have a 2-story house, you can have 2 of those $400 things, and so it will do the vacuum for you, right? So that those types of things which don't require much setting up, easing your life, are already started. I have one here that I wanted to show you. It's only 24 pounds. I've only bought it two days ago. So it's that Alexa. Many of you must have seen the adverts and whatever. I don't know. How many of you already have one Alexa at home? 1, 2, 3, 4. And do you find it useful? Very much.
Yeah, a lot of things I'm asking Alexa, whether the weather, is it going to rain so I can put it outside, and other things.
Yeah.
And they say
American accent. You can change that. You can change it. Yes. You can change it. You can actually teach this one Gujarati also. Anybody else?
Hussain bhai, you wanted to ask a question?
Correct. Let me just finish this thing. Yeah. So Alexa is an assistant, but there are some issues with that. For example, you must be subscribed to the Amazon Music in order to hear the music and things like that, and it can't access your your own library or your own know-hows that is there, and whatever YouTube it can't do, whatever. But there are things it can do for you, yeah? Like it can make your to-do list. Like if you have an appointment, it will put it in your diary for you, yeah, and it will remind you and things like that. So sometimes you are forgetful, and it will do that. It will do some reminders of your medication and things like that. So, but you can even go further. So I'm going to try now. Alexa, can you read me my book? I can, I will, I must, from where I left off.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, he's not sure about that. Alexa, can you turn on BBC Radio 4, please?
BBC Radio 4 from TuneIn. BBC Radio 4 on TuneIn language currently not available.
Currently not available. Oh dear. But anyway, it's something you can ask, things like that. I don't have time really to go into that.
Is it connected to Wi-Fi at the moment?
Yes, I connected it to my phone. That may be where it may be, yeah. It may be a problem because of that, yeah. So, I wanted to talk about doctors being available on an app. That's something for all people. There's another thing also which is very important, which is that two things really I would have liked to have talked about. One is that there are some 3D glasses that you can get, you know. They are coming into the market now, and they've used it for all people to, I mean, they've used it for games for youngsters these days, but for all people. For example, if somebody has pain and it doesn't go away, even with tablets and things like that, it can fill your mind with other things, and they found your pain goes down by 35% because you are occupied on something interesting or something like that, and you can find that that pain disappears for a while, yeah. And that type of thing is coming in, so it's becoming a screenless thing. So you'll see even your TV, you don't need to buy a TV, you can just wear that and you can say, show me BBC One or show me that, and it'll do that for you, yeah. And I know in Microsoft offices, Bill Gates's office now, he wears one of those as soon as he comes in. There's no computers there, but in his thing, he just does that and that way, and there's another screen that opens up here, or opens up another screen. So some people have 10 screens. What's going on here? What's going on here? So you can see it all without any TVs being there. So we're using less resources, and it's much more controllable, much more hands gestures, and you can see that that type of world is coming. So we will sometimes find that I can watch the TV, my own TV, my wife can watch her own TV at the same time. We're sitting together and probably talking. That's a thing that's coming in. The other thing I wanted to talk about quite a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
just
5 to 1 minute.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is that watches and things like that, wearables, where it actually tracks your heartbeat, it tracks your blood pressure, all the other things that it does, you know, and those are becoming very common, and sometimes insurance companies in the USA are giving it away free to seniors because it avoids falls. Many people at the age of 80, 85 fall down, and it warns you that this guy is getting very prone to falls and things like that. It also tells your GP directly what your position is, and it's an emergency thing also for you to call anybody, those types of things. So I would recommend that, you know, if anybody is using an iPhone and you want to buy an Apple Watch, you will really be surprised how much life changes for you better Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Also, there is things coming like tiles. So sometimes we lose keys and whatever. You can, for a small price, buy some little tags that work on internet, and you can put it on your keys or whatever, and then wherever it's lost, it'll tell you on the thing that it's there. Yeah, so those things. Now, really, questions and answers, if you have any, I'll give you 5 minutes for that.
Take the same question first.
Can you download Excel on your iPhone? Excel program.
Yes,
You can download.
yeah. And it's free if you're already subscribing to Microsoft Office. If you already have, I pay £7.99 per month, and then 10 people can use it in my family, and including 5 of these devices.
Number 2, you've given us all the information on technology, and you surprised me using paper, not a
I've got it also in here.
using electronic.
Yeah, I know. But
Electronic is not paper.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
No more questions?
No more questions?
I bought this machine and I don't know to use so.
I come to your house free of charge to teach you.
No, there is a tube to explain or something.
YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube, but you have to have some knowledge, at least an hour's knowledge, before you can go to YouTube.
Brother,
I have to spend an hour with you, and then you can do it yourself.
Bring here when this day sometime.
Okay, bring it, and then I will sit down at 2:30, but I'm here only for 4 weeks. I'm going to Dar es Salaam.
Thank you very much for that. Coming home, why don't we keep it on Wednesday? I think the ladies have started.
Yeah.
Form a group.
Yeah.
And you can help us.
Yeah, I can do that.
I will be here in time.
I'm prepared. Just organize something. Yeah, but I'm only here for 4 weeks. Then I'm going to Dar.
Pacho to આવે છે ને?
Pacho is 6 weeks પછી. Ha. Okay. Yeah. So can we have a bid for this?
सीम वाके सीम से 40 सीम बगैर
Sing वगैरह चलावीस. Yeah. Any offers, please? Huh? Base price, £20.
20 pounds.
25. Okay, 25. Tanveer Saab. Anybody to exceed that?
30 pounds.
30 pounds. Okay. 35. It'll go in our Jamaat fund or something like that. 35. Okay, we'll give it to you, Tanveer Saab. There is a wire missing, and I need to charge it up and check it out for you. Yeah, I can do that and bring it for you next Wednesday if you like. Yeah. You can pay 35 pounds to Mr. Kaku. No, to Jamaat. Yeah, give it to the Jamaat. Yeah, office.
Muhammad Wali Muhammad Salawat. Ziyarat.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخيك أبو الفضل العباس وأختك زينب السلام عليكم يا سائر شهداء كربلاء جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا نور الله السلام عليك يا ثالث شروط لا إله إلا الله السلطان أبو الحسن علي بن موسى رضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا يا مولاي يا غريب الغرباء ورحمة الله وبركاته अस्सलामु अलैका या हुज्जतुल्लाह या इब्नल हसन या साहिबल असरि वज़्ज़मान।